Coming up, it's alive. Join us as we dissect Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. Stay tuned.
And I saw it. Your name. Victor Frankenstein.
Welcome to the Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. And I am your host, Arturo Padilla. And with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. Before we get started, do not forget to hit the subscribe button down below, the like, and that bell. That way you know when these videos drop. We got a good one for you guys today. Tex, let's get into it. What is going on?
Oh man, howdy everybody, howdy Arturo, and Frankenstein. There's no bigger classic horror movie. I guess like when you think Universal monsters, right? It's Dracula, then Frankenstein. And then, then everything else after. Then you get the Mummy, you get the Wolfman. I don't know, maybe you can argue the Wolfman's maybe like number 2, but to me it's always been Dracula, then Frankenstein in terms of just horror icons, right? And there's no better movie to talk about with our show. We're called The Morgue. This is our field. This is us. This is a movie about literally playing with dead bodies. And oh man, Guillermo Del Toro. So Hellboy, I hope we get to see like In the Mountains of Madness from him someday, right? But Pacific Rim, what a career he's had. And now with
Labyrinth, right?
Yes. Oh,
Chronos,
yeah.
Devil's Backbone, just a slew of entertaining, epic, sci-fi, fantastical adventures, man. And he finally got the chance to produce one of his all-time favorite works, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein text. And boy, oh boy, did Netflix deliver.
Yeah.
Netflix, Guillermo Del Toro, and his team definitely delivered a good one, folks. But before we continue to break this down, I just have to say Frankenstein is my all-time favorite Universal monster, my all-time favorite horror novel, and I am a huge fan of the Frankenstein lore. And this one does it absolute justice. Tex, how do you want to break it down for the folks? Because we have a 2 hour and 45-minute epic here that where should we start here?
I guess like let's start there, right? So 2 hours and 45 minutes on Netflix. It is an easier sell than going to the theaters, but personally I think it's the other way around, right? Like if I were going to theaters and knew it was a 2 hour 45-minute movie going in, then I think it would sit better in theaters because I'd be like, okay, I'm here, I'm committed, I'm into it, right?
Yeah.
But because it's on Netflix and because I'm watching it at home, like I'm watching it on my TV. That's the thing. Like here at the Morgue, Arturo and I do not watch these things on our laptops.
No.
We're not watching on our phones. We're watching it as they intended in streaming, but it's also like in the best
4K
format as possible.
4K, 1080, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So like I'm watching it on like a good sized TV, but the point is like I'm still very comfortable and very easily distracted in that mode, and that's unfortunate. And I do have to say that starting out, I know I don't want to cut. Like I think at this point, like I'm trying to get the negatives out of the way here because I do have a lot of positives, right? Like I also love this movie. We don't get into spoilers here, so don't worry about that here at the Morgue. But what I do have to say is that length is something we have to take note of. We that's something we always kind of point out with films here at the Morgue, when it's a meaty runtime and whether or not that meaty runtime is worth it. What I will say is it is indeed worth it because they kind of Del Toro, like he's adapting Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, as Arturo said, but like this is the most faithful adaptation of the book that we've kind of ever seen, I think,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it is the most faithful, and honestly, this is my favorite adaptation of Frankenstein that I have ever seen. And with that said, just to piggyback off of Tech said with the length, I honestly did not mind the length. I knew going into it, it was gonna be a really, girthy movie. But like
Right.
Tex mentioned, in theaters, once you pay for that ticket, folks, you're in it to win it, right?
Yeah.
So at home, as Tex mentioned, there are more distractions, but I was focused and I knew this runtime, and it is a long movie. That is what I'm going to say straight off the bat. It is a long movie, but
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro managed to use every minute of that runtime to just perfectly narrate this story and show us both sides of the coin here, right? The way this thing gets broken down makes it easier to digest because you get the Victor story, right? And
Yeah.
then you get the Frankenstein story, the creature story. So I think doing it that way, using that kind of structure really helped because once you're like, okay, I'm getting a little tired of Victor
Yeah,
here.
it's very Netflix. It's
Yes.
very like, if this were a show, this would be an episode, and then this would be an episode. Like it's very, I do think that's intentional. Like I don't
It's
like
smart.
Arturo saying, like it's like once you can get kind of iffy or a little bit worn down on Victor's side of the story, here comes the creature, and that adds a whole new angle on the entire picture. And that is perfect for this Netflix viewing audience like me. I'm in that mode and I'm like, well, okay, it's time to, I will admit, like I was like, oh, let me take a break. And so I took a break in between. And because it's streaming, I had the ability to do so. So what Arturo is saying is that it's still worthwhile, and that's the thing. Like this length is kind of like you need it to explore everything
Yes.
that this movie offers you. And if you've seen any of Del Toro's works before, then you have like are likely aware that he does these longer movies just to give you like
Yeah.
he's there to deliver that cinematic experience. He's a director where you're like, okay, I'm going to go into your world and I'm going to live in it for however long you want me to live in it. And that's even stuff that's like very like comic booky or very pop culture like Hellboy. Like even Hellboy was what like it was definitely over the two,
It was
if
it
I
was
remember.
definitely over 2 hours for sure, but you're absolutely right. Guillermo del Toro is a very detailed individual, especially with all of his beautiful horror. He loves to show
Yes,
the audience every bit of the universe that he can possibly actually create for the
yes,
camera, and Frankenstein is no different. That big ship in the movie is an actual ship they built. Like that is yes, you're on a set, you're not on a location, but this thing was completely built from scratch in order to just get the audience in to that
yeah,
location and get them in that environment and get them just enveloped in this story. He is a master of that. And as Tex mentioned, he's done it throughout all his movies, even the ones that are less successful, like Pacific Rim, still has all these little details that are just like, man, that was really cool. Frankenstein is no different.
yeah.
And as we progress through the story of Frankenstein here, let's just kind of do our best to break down a little bit of this movie for these folks.
I guess the best way to do it is like character by character because that is how the movie itself presents it. So first we'll start with Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein. Off the bat, you kind of like you understand immediately why he's Victor because he Oscar Isaac is someone who a very attractive person on screen, right? Like first of all, that's movie star, right? Like he
Yeah.
gives you primo movie star, but at the same time he's also very good at being slimy. That like he
I mean,
is
we saw it Ex Machina, right? That was a perfect example.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, he is a great scumbag in this, and that's kind of what you want from Victor in this story. Like the original Frankenstein book was basically this version of Victor, a Victor who loved his mom maybe a little too much, became so obsessed with kind of one upping his dad. And then he's got all these other issues because of this. And then he's a one sided pursuit of just immortality
Yep.
and creating life.
Trying to
And
be a god.
Yes, and you get so much of that through Oscar Isaac. There are so many little moments that he does in this, and there are so many big theatrical moments too. On the other, like on the other end of the spectrum, he does these quiet things. Like there's one scene like where he's first introducing like just the idea of reanimating a body. Great practical effect, by the way. So
Yes,
that's
awesome.
something, right? Like,
The movie's
and
full of
the
great practical effects, by the way.
and the movie's great, full of just great visuals. So that's the other thing, like just addressing this little quick little side tangent, Arturo, but
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's the visuals, right? So I've seen a lot of complaints about like the use of CG or green screen in this. There are a lot of people who say like, oh, it looks like it was made for Netflix. First of all, duh. So yeah, it's
I
gonna
mean,
look like
yes, it was made for Netflix, but it still has a budget of over $100 million.
yeah, yeah, it still looks great. And
Yes,
like, and it's not even just like if it were using CG or not. Like Arturo just said, Arturo built the practical boat set. And oh, because the ocean was CG, you automatically think the entire ship scene is green screen. No, but like you look at the physicality of everything. You look at the ship, you look at just costume designs. I think my sister was like walking by when I was watching it. She was just like, yo, look at these costumes.
gorgeous.
Like
Yeah,
there's a scene where we meet his dad for the first time, and it's like it's laid out in this gorgeous like the cloudy landscape, and then the mother is the only one wearing red, and it's like flowing, and it's
yeah.
so cool. And it's just there's a lot of cool aesthetic stuff like that that's just like, yo, like there's a lot of attention to detail, even with like the creature himself, Jacob Elordi, who we'll talk about plenty here. But
Yes,
like
yes, we
Jacob
will.
Elordi sat in the makeup chair for like 7, 8 to 10 hours a day
Yeah,
putting that
11
stuff
hours.
on.
Yeah, for 6 hours when he was wearing the whole, like, trench coat getup, 11 hours when he was just fully,
Oh, when you had to
just
do
in
the full
diapers.
body.
Yeah,
Yeah, like so that's wild, but like
wild.
yeah, to say that this movie has like bad visuals is like, yo, that's a blanket unfair statement, I will say. You
I
can
mean,
have
listen, do the CG rats look a little funny sometimes?
yes, like the CG
Yes,
wolves and stuff, right?
but,
Yes.
like, also, like, it's such a minimal part of that specific scene, like, that
Yes.
it doesn't really matter. I understand the gripes, but you also have to understand the context around it. Like,
Yes.
there is a lot of practical effects in this movie, a lot.
Yeah, and just
From
great set
yeah,
design and
fr
great
from
just
the laboratory that's absolutely just built a huge lab set, looks fantastic. It looks like
it's
it
so
looks
cool.
straight out of a comic book, right? It looks like a Batman movie set or something.
Yes, yes.
It's so dope, and, like, there are moments here that CG is used, but for the most part, from what I've seen and behind the scenes, and I've seen a lot of it just because I was curious myself, a lot of
Yes.
this stuff is practical effects. And back to Oscar Isaac, right? And Victor
Yes.
Frankenstein. So you get him in this first scene talking to this Royal Medical Board. He has this very awesome, like, half body thing that
Yeah,
he
it's yeah, that he's like this cadaver that he's figured it out,
yeah, it's
like how to
so
move
cool,
around.
man.
It
It's so
takes like
cool.
because in the book, right? It's in the book, it's laid out like he's and it's kind of laid out the way in the scene where it's like, yeah, it's just like a scientific debate, right? But like
Yes, correct.
this movie finds a way to make that interesting and it make you be like, oh, yo, and when you see that thing in motion, you're like, oh, so this is what we're messing with
It's
here,
like, "I
right?
think
It's like
Victor has a point over here. Can we dabble over here?" Oh,
but
man, it was
but
so cool to see, man, and then,
yeah, and in that
Oscar
scene too,
yes.
he's doing stuff like throwing a ball around, and it's like, yo, this guy is just what an intro, right? Like to
Yes,
be like, and on
absolutely.
yes,
Oscar Isaac just kills it. We apologize for just stepping all over each other, but we're just so excited to talk about this movie, mainly because we finally got something. Yeah, we got Badlands this month, right? But we
yes,
also needed something really to sink our teeth into, a la Dune. You know what I mean?
yeah,
A la Spider-Man No Way Home,
yeah,
right? Like a
yeah.
la Avatar. And
We
we
just needed
finally we needed
something.
cinema. as
Yeah,
Scorsese would say, right?
I mean,
Cinema,
we
right?
needed cinema. Like
Yeah, and
that's the
we
thing.
got it
Like,
from Netflix.
yeah.
That is the beauty of this all, because there's that whole debate, folks, going on about Netflix going to theaters and all that stuff. But you know what, though? At the end of the day, the winners here are us, the audience,
I
because we
mean,
we get both, right? We
because
get
we're
the
getting it.
Netflix, and the ones that go to theater, we can go to the theater. But the fact that this was a Netflix vehicle, like, for one, is just like completely shocking. I definitely wish this movie stuck around in theaters a little bit longer and
Yeah,
was released in a lot more theaters. I know that Netflix and
it
AMC theaters, for instance, they don't have a good relationship, and I know they would never put their stuff there.
yes.
But damn, I really wish I saw this thing on the big screen. Tex, really wish.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like here at the morgue, our general stance on streaming versus a theatrical release. We'll say this all the time. A lot of the times when a movie hits theaters, we're like, "Yeah, that was good," but if we had the home option, we would have taken the home option. But then there's the reverse effect, like Arturo's talking about, where something's so good that you're like, I really wish I got the chance to see that in the big screen. And I think this is what like Frankenstein is. It's just a cinematic movie that like it literally gives you just a ton to work with, and it's held up by just incredible performances, I think, all throughout. I don't think there was a single stinker. There was no one like, even like Mia Goth, who was
Oh my goodness.
such like an interesting choice, right? Because she's great. She's fantastic. I don't think she's only disappointed me in like the some of the Ty West stuff, but is that her fault? No, not at all.
But
So,
even her roles in the Ty
yeah,
West films, though, she was still
yes,
very good. And here, my goodness, folks, this is why, hear me out, right? I may sound crazy. I wish we had a little bit more length in the movie to spend some more time with Elizabeth, because
yeah,
her character was just
yeah,
so fascinating and just such an awesome contrast in that world, and I really wish we could have spent more time with her, but what we do get is something just special. She's
yeah,
really good, especially in those quiet moments when it's just a close up and you just need her to kind of monologue these like
yeah.
very quiet lines, dude.
She's delivering these things that are basically like sad insights into Elizabeth's life, right? Like, because each time she talks to Victor, and like she gets, it's this is still dancing around spoilers, so I'll try not to go too much into detail. But like when she's each time she speaks to Victor, she basically opens up about something that like she's heartbroken by. Like there's something that she's noticed in the world, and like, or she's trapped and she's like within this system that she just can't fight out of, and she's just depressed about it and sad. And there's so much of that, but there's also a little bit of hope in there too, because she's
Yes.
like, she also hasn't given up. And that's like she's constantly talking about that back and forth. And this is, like Arturo said, this is through these monologues that she has. And it took like a really deft actress to kind of do that balancing act, because it's she literally has to do a lot with very little percentage when you
Yes.
consider the entire package, right? And you
Yeah.
consider Elizabeth's importance to this narrative as the movie unfolds, and you see how she builds into the grander scheme. She's only in it for like a couple of choice scenes when you really, really boil it down, right?
Yeah, and she steals those scenes. So
Yes.
the little time she does get, she takes full advantage of that screen time and completely just steals the entire movie when she is on screen. And this is why
Yeah.
it's such a shame that we didn't get more. But that said, the story, the way it was written, it didn't call for that. So I
Yeah.
definitely get it. But if you guys have seen this movie, you understand why I want more of Elizabeth. And if you haven't, please, that is one of the reasons to go see Frankenstein. Aside from Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth's awesome performance in here. Again, very small screen time, which is crazy. Such small screen time, such big impact. And that's
Yeah.
just a testament to her talent. And
Yeah.
speaking of talent, Jacob Elordi as the creature.
Yeah.
Oh, Tex. Man, I've seen this movie twice, Tex. I just Yeah. I've seen this movie twice, all right? And just the second time around, I wanted to watch it specifically for Elordi and his performance.
To
And with
really
just
soak it in, right? To
yes, and
really
just the
like,
creature performance alone, because when you first watch it, you're like, just like, wow, you just witnessed this
yeah,
crazy epic, you know?
I think that's also something I do have to point out too, Arturo, is like you hit it the nail on the head that like it kind of it almost overwhelms, right? Like it's like I feel like this is entirely intentional, so I'm gonna give Del Toro credit because he is so experienced in this kind of delivery, in this kind of grander scale.
Very operatic, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I think just being overwhelmed by just being like, yo, like the
Like,
like
wow.
exactly like Arturo was saying, the first time you see him move, and you're like, yo, and the way you see him just like he well, because everyone knows this isn't a spoiler to say, but Frankenstein basically starts out from stage zero, right? And is like, yo, straight up just a baby, just trying to put it
Yeah.
all together. And Elordi is really good at that. He's a huge man. He's a huge man pulling this off.
Yeah, he's like,
It,
what, 6'5", 6'7",
yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
but like the
Freaking
way
tall.
he's shot, the way things are set up, and the way he positions himself makes him look like it's so man, it's so
It's
just
something you have to just watch in order to
yeah.
really understand, because this dude just acted his ass off in this movie.
Yeah,
He doesn't speak. He doesn't have any real lines until his portion of the story. So
right.
it's just Victor, Victor, Victor the entire portion, but those instances of delivery, he has a different delivery for every time he says Victor. And then there's
Yeah,
such physical acting that has to be done on his part in order to portray, as Tex said, this, baby development, going from a
yeah,
baby to adolescent to teen to adult to fully fledged, like learned human. And he does such a great job. And then it gets even better when he
yeah,
gets dialogue, dude. Like,
yeah,
my
yes,
God, his delivery, just like Mia Goth, when they have these very intimate moments, these scenes where it's just him delivering these like heavy, deep emotional beats. It's like, wow, you are awesome. And then like wearing all this prosthetic and still being able to deliver the kind of
yeah.
emotion needed to kind of make the point of the narrative, right?
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's so wild that like there's stuff he does with his face, right? Where you're like, yo, this is I don't know. It's kind of like I know we're like that's the thing. Like I'm trying to like as I'm praising this movie, I'm also trying to be aware of the fact that like yeah, I'm being real cinemaphile about this right now. But it's kind of like when you're in the moment and you're watching it and you see him pull off these things like these faces that underneath, like Arturo said, underneath all the prosthetics and stuff, and you're like, wow, like you just kind of have to sit there and be
Yeah,
amazed by it, right? You're
absolutely.
like, yo,
Because
yeah,
like specifically to add what Tex was saying, it's these moments of discoverability, right? Like as
yes,
a human being, like you realizing for the first time, it's like, oh, that's how something works. Like he's just able to translate that. And it's so crazy because it is a lot of facial emotive expression here. And it's the slightest little smirk, the slightest little like
yeah,
brow, the slightest little just movement of his face. And that, folks, that's being an actor, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. He kind of really kills it, and I hope like I do hope this does get some recognition. I don't know. Like I'm just like, is it supporting actor? Is it lead actor? Is it like I don't know because yes, the movie is called Frankenstein and it is about Victor Frankenstein. It's very much also about the creature, and they're kind of balanced in that way of
It's a
like
double lead, right?
yeah, yeah, where
Yeah.
it's like I wouldn't surprise to see them build either, right? Like, oh, it's like, oh, okay, one is lead and one's supporting. That's just how it rolls, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I hope he in particular just gets some recognition somewhere for this because I did not have any faith in him at all. Like the only experience I've had with him, like I think he was in that Euphoria show. I
Yeah,
want to
he did
say,
Saltburn as well, which but I
yeah,
haven't seen any of that. Like I
yeah,
I saw him once in this horror movie. It was like an anthology of different horror movies. I forgot what it was, but he was in it. I'm like, oh, that's a tall,
Yeah,
handsome looking dude. And I
but
was like, okay.
but
Oh,
it wasn't memorable enough
the
to make a mark.
mortuary files. The
Oh,
mortuary
yeah.
files. Yeah.
I I remember that now.
Yes.
It was the yes, yes, where it was like a whole like four little anthology stories, right?
Yes,
Or
yes,
yes.
yeah, and he played a teen from, like, the '60s or something. He had, like, a varsity, like, Letterman jacket and everything, and I noticed him then, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow, this guy, tall, handsome, can act pretty well," but then I didn't I haven't seen anything else after that, and
Yeah.
just this one is like, wow. I mean, I'm not gonna go back and watch Saltburn or Euphoria,
No,
but
no,
but my
it's not a
goodness.
perform like it's not one of those like I'm suddenly gonna follow him whatever he does. It's I'm sorry to say it, like it's not he needs the Chalamet kind of
I
streak,
was just
right?
gonna say, he's no Timothy,
Yeah,
you're not
he
there yet,
yeah,
you know?
he needs that hot streak of like, okay, we have Frankenstein, now the next one has to be a banger. The next one after that also has to be a banger. Cause like Timothy Chalamet, he went from like Bones and All, right, to like Dune, Dune 2, and then like in
Bob
between it's like
Dylan.
Wonka, Bob Dylan, right? We were like, all right, we know
Box
it. We
office, like, yo, he brought in the box office money for sure
yeah,
for Warner Brothers, so golden child for that, man.
but yeah, what I was like, yeah, this is all back to saying like, if I'll keep an eye out, right? Like it's like okay, like
He's gonna have to pop up in some Christopher Nolan movie and really
yeah,
impress, right?
yeah, yeah, right. He needs to get cast in like the Odyssey. I don't know if he's in that, but he needs to be in that.
You know what? Is he in that? I think everyone's in that movie,
he
right?
he might be. This is why I'm like I'm also not like confirming or denying. I'm like he just might be. Everyone's in it, but this is all to wrap around and say like I know we eventually have to get to like scoring the review and all that stuff like we do here, but I just want to spend a few more minutes just kind of glazing it a bit more. Like
It
it
deserves it. It
yeah, because
deserves all the glaze.
we were waiting for something like this. That's the other thing too. Like this year, we've had some really good ones. Like Arturo said earlier in this conversation, Predator Badlands was great. We've seen some good movies. Fantastic Four, I mean,
Superman.
Superman. Like we've had great movies this year, but this one I was like, yo,
Yeah,
it's
but,
like
like, right, but,
this is
like, in terms of actual, like, movies, right?
yeah,
Like, not just, like,
this
a
is a
comic book
film.
movie or
Yeah,
something, you know what I mean?
this is a film.
Like, this is a legit, like, Hollywood era
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
it's so well done. Guillermo del Toro is the kind of creative mind that wants to just infiltrate the audience with every piece of information about that universe. And he does that
yeah,
through the details in his sets, through the details in his costumes. Those things tell a story. And here
yeah,
he does that as well. As Tex mentioned before, all the costumes and wardrobe we see throughout the movie, everything Goth is wearing is just like a statement piece.
yeah,
Even what Oscar Isaac is wearing half the time, he's like in this fancy green silk robe at one point, just slaying with his bare chest, and then wearing
yeah.
red gloves at one point.
Oh,
It's just like
yes,
there's a lot of detail that goes into this movie, and your eyes are just gonna go all around the
yeah.
screen trying to see everything.
Like it's a constant feast of everything, and I think that's where I go back and back to saying like it does feel a bit overwhelming at times. So I will say that like this is why it's like for me personally, if it that's what keeps it at that perfect range. Come like, yeah, the length was an issue to me. And it is something that I'm like, sometimes like, oh, there's so much going on that I'm like, okay, that's also part of the experience. This is part of the thing. You just kind of have to, for me, saying this for the buddies at home, it's like I want to let you know that that's something you have to be aware of going in. Like Arturo said, operatic. I think that's a perfect analogy, right? It's like, yo, like this is like you are going to a theater to experience this. This is why we wish it was on the big screen still. So just when you're watching it at home, don't watch it on your phone. Don't like,
No, no, you can't because there's also because the way it's shot, there's a lot of dark scenes in it. So watch it
Yeah.
on a good TV, man.
Take a break
Yeah.
like I did if you need to. There's nothing wrong with intermissions. This is why, like, operas and Broadway shows, they have intermissions because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, like I'm here for this big experience that you're letting me in on, right? And that's exactly what this movie is. This is just an experience that you kind of have to just you sit in, and you're like, okay, let me into this. And thankfully, like it pays off. Like thankfully, it's not just like visuals, right? That's the thing. If it were just visuals, if it were just Del Toro just flexing how cool he can make everything look, then we'd be sitting here going, "Well, it looked good, but it was long." You know?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Pacific Rim. Like Pacific
Yeah.
Rim was him just having fun, not really
Yes.
having a lot of substance in there. But I have to say that I, for one, didn't mind the length.
Right.
But I think that's because of how the structure of the story unfolds, as I said earlier in the show, where you have Victor's story and then you have this whole other refreshing part of the movie with the
Right.
creature story. But all that said, you folks know how we do it here at the Morgue. We have stay away from it, which is pretty self explanatory. You stay away from this product at all costs. You have wait for it, which is you can wait until this movie drops on your favorite streamer to watch it on your couch in your home. And finally, we have the pay for it, which is go to the theater ASAP, pay for a ticket or pay for the streamer to watch this movie or show. I'll start off, Tex, just to get myself out of the way here. I do have a slight bias because Frankenstein is my all time favorite, but I am a harsh critic of everything that I love. And I think
Yeah.
this is absolutely the best iteration I have ever seen of Frankenstein. And it is a total pay for it for me. I gave this a 10 out of 10 on my reviews. I think it is a masterpiece. There is such exquisite detail in this movie. The performances are just over the top, and it's just a beautifully shot film. We do get a little CG here and there that might cause issues, but again, that CG happens in sequences that there's a whole like lot else happening that's more
Yeah.
important, you know.
Yeah.
But folks, I really love this movie, and I've seen it twice already, and I cannot wait to see it again to discover more little details in this film. Tex, what say you about Frankenstein?
So, saying that I will start by saying I don't have the same bias that Arturo does. I literally just said at the start of the show Dracula was the number one. Sorry. I
I
I've
let it slide.
seen
It's okay because it
yeah.
did come from you.
I mean, it's we have because of Dracula, we have What We Do in the Shadows, right? And it's like, yeah, Frankenstein. We need like one of that for Frankenstein's monsters, But this is all to say, pay for it. Like I don't know. Like I was trying to like set the table, but honestly, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Pay for it. I will say that once again, just wrapping up my point of view, the length did was an issue for me, but you can just take a break. That is my counter to myself. There, it is also something that can be overwhelming, but that's also part of the experience. And I think ultimately where I sit with it is that I think it's the kind of movie where you're kind of going to sit and think about some moments and some scenes in particular. And then you're going to realize that, oh, there's an entire other layer underneath that stuff. Like, I'm still kind of piecing it down. Like, I'm like, oh, it was about Victor, hating his dad and trying to, like,
Yeah, there's a lot
be,
there. Yeah,
yes,
you're
there's
absolutely
like
right, Tex.
oh, he loved his mom a lot, oh, did he love her too much? Oh, there's when he creates the creature, it's like, oh, is that his son? And there's a whole complicated issue with
But you know
that.
what,
And
dude? Like, that's also one thing I love about this movie because you see how you're pointing out all these philosophical and theoretical things about this movie, but it's not things that you have to really dig deep
yeah,
down for.
yeah,
It's really all there on the surface for you to experience and pick out on your own time.
yeah,
That's the beauty of Guillermo del Toro and the way that he writes things and the way that he translates things to the screen. He is a master storyteller, and this is a perfect example of that. And folks, if you have not seen any Guillermo del Toro, now is the time to really catch up
yeah,
on all his works. I know you can find a bunch of his stuff on HBO Max. There's Frankenstein on Netflix. There's just a lot of his stuff. And what's great about him too is that there's a little bit for everybody, right? If you don't like the very fantastical, crazy stuff, there's the more tamer stuff like in Devil's Backbone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which is one of his first movies. If you want nuts, go watch Hellboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you want something for kids, especially, you have Pinocchio, which is also on
Yes.
Netflix. You have
Yes.
just, and if you want to see more visual animation aesthetics, like that's the thing. Like I think part of praising Frankenstein is also praising Del Toro as a creative visionary at this point. Like I will never like stop glazing that man. He is like he's out there doing it, right? And he's doing it with a love and a passion for just not
Yes.
only movies but like how they're made. And he has a clear respect for not only his
Absolutely.
craft but everyone else's craft around him. Like he like just you see this movie and you see how much just everyone clearly in production respected one another and was able to pull this off, right? And pull it off in such a way where you're like, wow, this is just this is a great movie. That's it. It's just a great movie, man.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Real quick, my favorite Del Toro movie,
Oh
before we get
yes.
out of here, um, Pan's Labyrinth, still my absolute favorite, and I can't wait to show my daughter that movie. She's right in that age where she can finally understand and take in all that
Yeah.
information. But Pan's Labyrinth really takes the cake for me, man. Um, that's when I knew that, oh my God, anything this guy does, it's gonna be special. Tex, how about you? What is your favorite Del Toro flick?
The Golden Army, actually,
Oh,
Hellboy 2. Yeah, like we've talked about it. I know we've talked about it off air, but
yes.
like if you want like just another same vein of like epic and operatic and overwhelming and literally everything I said
Literally
praising.
everything we just said, yes.
Like
There's so much going on in that movie.
but like I to this day this is one of those flashbulb memories I have because it was that big of a movie for me where I remember like I distinctly have the visual of me sitting in the chair and looking up like I was in the perfect row to just kind of be like I'm in it, like I am here within it. And it
It's so
was
good.
yeah
Like,
it's I
it's
was
Golden Army is so good. This is why I wish he really did a third one, man, because
yeah
we
yeah
deserved it. We definitely deserved it. But also, let's not forget, he also directed a Marvel movie, folks. Blade 2, anyone? The best
yeah
Blade of the entire
yeah
trilogy. Oh
Blade
my god, this
2.
is such like a Del Toro gloss party right now. Let's glaze
Yeah,
them up, take them to the donut shop, baby.
honestly, yeah, because when are we gonna get that chance until like he like creates something again? Like that's the thing. He's someone who like I'm especially grateful just as a person who watches movies, who enjoys movies, and who enjoys talking about movies with you all here. It's like seeing someone like him succeed, right? And it's clearly like, and he's clearly seems like such a nice guy on top of that, right? He doesn't seem like to be a jerk about it. He just like like he seems, and from everyone who's talked about him too, like there would have been something by now, right? Like if he were like a secret like jerk or something we would know about it, but no, literally everyone in
Listen,
any
Tex,
interviews has talked about how nice of a person he is and how much he clearly just loves and respects
I'm gonna have to
film.
send him an email to see if he wants to become my uncle
Yeah.
because I'm looking for an
Yeah.
uncle.
Yeah, he's
Um,
just that spiritual Theo, he's
dude,
just
yes, man.
yeah, like
That one that goes like, "Hey, come here. How you doing? How you
yeah.
been?" It gives you advice, shows you cool stuff. He wants to put
He's
all his memorabilia into like a
yeah,
haunted house, dude. How like
dude,
awesome is
I
that?
I would love it. He's just a guy who I think that's the perfect way to describe it. He'd be the Theo who shows you movies, right? It's like, yo, you're not supposed to be watching Bloodsport yet, but we're gonna watch
I
Bloodsport,
love
you
you
know?
too, Guillermo. I love you. And with that, folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Do not forget you can catch these reviews on the podcast stream wherever you get your pods. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share on all the socials. You can find this there. And most importantly, folks, always remember it is a scary world out there, but we are here to walk you through it.